Hey everybody, it is a wet and yucky weekend here in South Louisiana, so there won't be much gardening going on here. You can see the sky is just real dreary. It feels a little more like Seattle than it does Baton Rouge. So we're going to take advantage of this, and guys, I'm breaking out the digital pressure canner. I have never used it before. It has been in my pantry since probably at least 2 years. I'm scared to death of it. So we are gonna try it today. We're gonna break it out. We're gonna see if we can get it to work. I don't know. My girl Jenna inside of the garden club assures me I can do this. She has been cheering me on with this. Several of the other girls, one of our mentors, Carrie, is an excellent pressure canner. And the rest of us are just kind of like, okay, if y'all can do it, so can we, right? So I have brought out my bowl. I'm gonna pick every bean I can find out here, and then we're gonna try the pressure canner if you wanna come along. So one of the things about beans is that when you grow these are bush beans, and this is Royal Burgundy bush beans. This is a great variety. It's a lot like the purple teepee, but the purple teepee tend to want to vine a little bit more than these guys do. These have really behaved and stayed in place. I've really liked that. But the thing about growing beans is that you're only gonna get like 3, maybe 4 flushes on these guys before they're like done. So often we look at our beans and we're like, oh my goodness, they're starting to peter out. Must be something wrong. Let me spray. Let me do all the things. Let me feed more. Let me do all this. And really the truth is the plant is just done. These beans go from seed to harvest in 45 days. By 65 days, you're pretty much wrapping up. So you really just have to expect that from beans. But oh my goodness, the amount that you will get off of these guys in that short little amount of time is absolutely unbelievable. Let's keep picking. So we love to grow these guys because they're like your instant gratification, quick win, we call them. And we need that, right? Because you're waiting so long for tomatoes. You feel like you're just watching paint dry, and it takes forever, sometimes an additional month just to go from fully sized green to picking, fully blushed. So you do sometimes feel like you are just waiting and waiting and waiting on tomatoes. So these guys make the waiting a little bit easier. And again, it's like an Easter egg hunt. I mean, every time you pick up the plant, there's so many beans, so many beans. I've almost filled this entire bowl, and I've got a lot more to go. I hope we can figure out the canner. That'll be interesting if we can't. Look at all this, guys. We haven't been at it this long at all. I think it's also important here to remember how much space we've given these beans. Literally 8 square feet. So in this 4x8 bed, I have 1 square foot of beans planted all along the outside of the bed, which means they've got 8 square feet. Not a lot of space at all to get so many beans. I'm gonna give you one more trick to growing beans, and then we're gonna go in and start trying to can. So these are, and you can see, they're starting to kind of give out. They've been through the ringer with the weather, and they have a few more on them, but in that final succession, you start to really see this. Few and far between little bitty beans. You may get every now and again one of these, but for the most part, you're just gonna see very few beans, a lot fewer than what you're used to. And yeah, you'll get the flowers and you'll get the beans, but they just won't be as many, right? So that is, this guy right here is wrapping up. He's pretty much done. But the good news is that over here, these guys still have at least 1 more flush on them. And even better than that is that I have one more succession that is just now starting to sprout. So we kind of love to keep things always growing at different times so that we're not overwhelmed. Look, I just found more. So that we're not overwhelmed by the amount of produce coming out of our backyard gardens, and we're able to manage it. But at the same time, obviously we want it to be enough to make it worth it. So you can see kind of the difference here. Obviously these guys are on their way out. The garden's so beautiful in the rain, so beautiful after a rain, but let's go in and see what we can do with these beans. I can't wait to use this pressure canner. Okay, so I asked Steve to help me today because I just wasn't sure about how to do this. And you can see he is Mr. Directions and Instructions, and it was not easy to really just understand exactly how to use this brand new Presto Digital Canner. But once we got it, we were rocking and rolling, and we learned that you have to first warm it up. And you do that by filling your jars with water and just kind of heating everything. So once we got that done, then we had to get back to the pressure canner and figure out exactly how to get it actually going. So this was a little bit of, I guess, a learning curve, and we figured it out, but it did take a minute. And then once we did figure it out, it was hilarious. It wasn't as hard as we thought it was. Imagine that. So once we got it all figured out, we put our filled jars here into the canner and we let it heat. And while we let it heat, we went ahead and started preparing our beans. So we wanted to cut them like canned green beans. And in order to do that, we kind of set up this little bit of a assembly line type thing, but I was moving way too slow for Steve. So he kind of took it over and told me to have my own pile and he was going to have his. So as we were chopping beans and really just cleaning up, taking the ends off and cutting them into just a couple of pieces, we were chatting it up about all sorts of things. And one of the things we talked about was the nutritional value in these beans and how much produce loses its nutrition just from the field to your table. And this is one of those ways that we can control that. And we're both really excited about being able to do that. So once we got them all cut up, we rinsed them really, really well. And y'all, we had so many beans. I mean, a ton of beans, right? Next, we're going to fill the jars because now they're hot and we can go ahead and start filling them up. And once you have them filled, you'll add your salt and your seasonings. And then basically you just top them again with that boiling water. And so you're going to set your cans nice and gently here into the pressure canner, put the lid on, and guys, it was not nearly as difficult as I thought it was. We literally just pressed start and we were like, whoa, it says it's going. Okay. If y'all want to stay for supper, come on, I'll show you what we're cooking. Even after filling 7 jars with the green beans, we still had plenty left over. So we decided to go ahead and cook some on the stove, old school style, just like your mama does. So we added our onions, our bell peppers, and our celery and garlic. And then we took some sausage and cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Let the dogs have a couple bites and added that to the skillet as well. And just stir it up and let it brown real good. This is actually deer sausage from the deer that we kill. So we actually processed this deer and turned it into sausage. And then we're going to add our green beans. Y'all, this feels like you are at Mama's house. It's so good. So once you get your green beans in the pan, you're just going to want to stir them up a little bit and get them good and browned. And as you do that, it just kind of all starts melting together. And you're then going to just top it off with some chicken stock. Super simple, but so much flavor. So after you cook this down, this is what you end up with. Most of the liquid is out. And delicious. We're going to serve those beans up with some gypsy peppers that we stuffed with cream cheese and breakfast sausage. Some cherry tomatoes, that's red perfusion, and we just sliced them in half with some vinegar and oil. Little corn casserole and those delicious beans. Now we are still waiting on this guy to finish up, but I think this is what I like the most about it is that you don't have to babysit it. It's gonna beep when it's done. And we did it. Oh my goodness, we were so proud of ourselves. We got 7 cans of beans. We did have a couple seals break, but that's okay with us. Okay, well, we did it. We canned our very first batch of beans here, and I'm really excited. It was so much easier than I thought it was gonna be. And also the digital pressure canner from Presto could not have been easier to use. So for me, I had so many fears about using a pressure canner. I had so many fears about canning altogether because I have had bad experiences with water bath canning, and I just didn't really know what to expect, and I expected the worst. But I can tell you, it was actually really easy. I'm gonna take this little book here and I'm gonna go look and see what else I can pressure can, what else I can can. I'm trying to learn some more about it, and I'll report back and let you know. If you have any tips for me, please leave them in the comments though, because this was my very first time. And you may have seen me do something wrong. I would love to know that. So thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.